Anthony Albanese has defended making hard decisions as Prime Minister in a room full of business leaders as he made a pledge for $3 billion in new money for Victorian infrastructure projects. The comments came as he headlined the Herald Victoria Chamber of Future Victoria event, which brought political opponents together. Our Victorian political reporter Simon Love is there. Simon, take us through the promise from the Prime Minister today.
Well, the headline out of the Prime Minister's speech was certainly the injection of $2 billion into Melbourne Airport rail link, particularly around getting the Sunshine Station up and running. And Anthony Albanese also tied his government to the state government's ambitious plans to the suburban rail loop, which at the moment has early works underway on a rail line in Melbourne's eastern suburbs. But the Prime Minister indicated this cash would help the project's western end, which really is decades away. Another feature was as well $1 billion for outer suburban roads, and no doubt the room full of business leaders and political leaders as well would have been watching that announcement closely in the context of the upcoming federal election. We saw Brad Batten, the leader of the opposition in Victoria, in the room. No one from the federal coalition, but certainly plenty of federal ministers and state ministers as well. But very interesting was the question and answer session where Sam Weir, the editor from the Herald Sun, who I'll speak to in a moment, put to the Prime Minister, especially around the voice referendum and whether he had any regrets around calling that referendum, particularly in the run-up to this federal election.
And one of the things that I have done is not duck. I have done things that are hard. I'll tell you what the hardest thing I've done in government is to tell people in this room, I'm going to take tax cuts off you, that you are going to get $4,500, and I'm going to give it to people who weren't going to get anything. And that redistribution to lower middle income earners, I can't remember what the Herald Sun front page
Something about a broken promise. Something about a broken promise.
Yeah, I don't think it was quite that. I think it was probably more vicious than that.
Never vicious.
And, well, it was. Every paper in the country was. Not just news. Every commentator said, well, that's it, you're done.
And I'm with the man himself who edits Melbourne's Herald Sun, Sam Weir, host of the event alongside the Victorian Chamber. Sam, what did you make of that from the Prime Minister there to your question around some of his decision-making?
He tried to turn it very quickly. I think he does deep down regret. I think the cost of living issue, which he was running parallel against his sort of voice argument, has really sort of cut deep into Labor electorates. And it's why he's, suffering in the polls in Victoria. There's potentially 11 seats up in play in Victoria at the moment, so it's really challenging for him.
And he really stamped his authority, right, on the room, which was really full of the who's who of Victoria and Melbourne, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, it was a great event. Obviously, as you mentioned before, two big announcements. $3 billion for Victoria. It shows why. The Prime Minister's going to be visiting here a lot over the next weeks and months. We tried to get the election day out of him. We couldn't.
You almost got it, I reckon.
We'll keep on trying.
Do you think he genuinely hasn't decided yet? Because he sort of said to you almost got it out of him.
Yeah, no, I sat next to him and spent a lot of time. I think it'll be 3 years if he goes in May. He thinks 3 years is too short anyway. So I do get the feeling he wants to go full term. So all the people sort of talking about April, maybe their bets should be a bit closer to May.
No doubt. You're on your way back to the newsroom. Headline out of this event?
I think the airport rail, it's a big project. We had a poll where it's the priority project for Victorians. It's interesting how the Premier has tried to make airport rail part of SRL, which is a project that is on the nose of Victorians. So we're going to end up possibly with a lot of construction in the southeast and a lot of construction near the airport, and nothing linking them for potentially decades. So it'll be interesting.
Plenty of fodder for the paper in coming weeks, no doubt, and our coverage as well. Sam, great to chat to you as always, and thanks for putting on a great event.
Cheers. Thank you.
Sam Weir, the editor of the Herald Sun there, Ash.
Simon Love, appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, interesting to see that election date speculation continuing. One vote there for perhaps a May election. We'll have to continue to wait and watch and guess in the next few weeks.